Move to reconvene open session. Get a motion? We all stand to say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Take a show of hands to approve the agenda. All right.
Yes, I had that written down.
Yeah.
Consent items.
All right. So special recognitions. We have. Shoot, you reading all this?
You're supposed to have it memorized, John.
I know. We'll start with high school good news. Hawkapella is the new contemporary a cappella ensemble at the Hillsboro High School. The International Championship of the Collegiate A Cappella have been made popular by the Pitch Perfect movies. Hawkapella will be competing in the high school version of that exact same competition this year. We have a great group of very talented students and can't wait to get started. 2015-16 Hawkapella.
That should be Hawkapella.
Yeah, all right. Derek Curtis, Olivia Dugan, Abigail Ben Font, Miranda Finch, Jacob Hickson, Katie Orr, Katie Perstrope, Eli Riednauer, Brianna Sykes, Austin Treat, Carly Turman, sorry, and Jennifer Edmund. The Guidance Department sponsored another very successful field trip / campus tour to SEMO for 39 college-bound juniors and seniors. Plans are in the works for additional campus tour field trips, I'm sorry. Lots of interest has been shown from the student body. We have 20 technical, college, and university admission reps scheduled to meet with our students on our campus the next 2 months. A financial aid information night is planned for our junior / senior parents to hear from Jeffco and UMSL admission reps about FAFSA, financial aid process, etc. We also have 2 college fair field trips planned for October. Our military recruiters are back in the swing of things at Hillsboro High School and are available to visit with any interested students during the lunch periods on almost a daily basis. Hillsboro High School has been chosen by DESE to be a FAFSA friendly site. There will be assistance offered in February for seniors and parents filling out FAFSAs from the Learning Center. Oh, this is the next one. It was all together.
Yes.
All right. The Learning Center class at LC has been quite busy. We took 3 days to rake the nature trail at the primary so that the students can walk safely. We also spray painted an obstacle course on the ground so that visually impaired students can see them. We picked up 5 large bags of trash at the commuter lot at Highway A and Highway 21. This made a huge and visible difference. We volunteered at the Open Door Animal Sanctuary where we walked over 100 dogs and helped with the socialization of over 200 cats that live at the facility. We picked up trash all around the intermediate building campus. The entire Learning Center also helped the Elks set up a large rummage sale in their basement. Nice job. Marching Hawks news. The Marching Hawks competed in the Metro East Marching Classic at O'Fallon Township High School in O'Fallon, Illinois on Saturday, September 12, 2015. This was their first of 5 competitions they will attend during the 2015 marching season. The Marching Hawks competed in the 2A classification against Triad, Highland, Centralia, Carbondale High Schools. Within that class, the Marching Hawks placed first overall and were presented with the caption awards for outstanding musical performance, outstanding visual performance, outstanding color guard, and outstanding percussions. Additionally, the Marching Hawks were crowned grand champion of the 1A and 2A small school classification, making them the top ensemble of 12 small school bands. Yay. The Marching Hawks will have 4 more competitions: September 19th, Farmington High School, October 10th, Potosi High School, October 17th, Seckman High School, October 24th, St. Genevieve High School. Good job. Breakdown St. Louis is back for another year at Hillsboro High School. Breakdown St. Louis will be with us again this year. We were the first high school to have the Breakdown Off-Stage program in our school beginning in 2012. Breakdown St. Louis educates, equips, and empowers teens to make positive life choices regarding relationships, sex, alcohol, drugs, bullying, self-harm, and suicide by providing culturally relevant, preventive health education. They are now in several schools in St. Louis. Last week, they brought their team and spoke to over 100 students. They met during RTI. This month's theme was goal setting. I heard about that. That's nice. Football team recognized by opposing team's fans from Gary Nichols. I need all the help I can for this to reach the staff and the football coaches of the Hillsboro High School. My son plays for the Raider Junior Football League, 6th grade. We had a scrimmage before the high school game started. My son was so excited to invite Mama and Darla Clifford Nichols and Pawpaw Howard Nichols, who was a Hillsboro Hawk in his day, to this game. Laugh out loud, we were getting our tails kicked by the Hawks. We all decided to leave the game at half. My mother was in a wheelchair due to a recent surgery and stroke. As we were fixing to put Mom on the lift to get her in the van to leave, you could hear the thunder of cleats heading towards us. The Hillsboro Hawks, with all respect, yelled from the front of the line to the back of the line to watch where they were going and to watch out for my mom. Just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Very respectful men. By the way, y'all have a heck of a team. Volleyball news. Our freshmen won first place in the Pacific Tournament this past Saturday. This is our second year in a row to win that tournament. 4 out of 7 varsity players are in talks with college coaches and or have already verbally committed to play at the college level. So exciting. All right. Water. Do we have any visitors signed up? Jan Heine? Get the thing I read.
It's Jane.
Jane, I'm sorry.
You have the last name right, which most people don't.
Oh.
So, hi. My name is Jane Heine, and yes.
Just one second.
Sure.
Yeah. I'd just like to address blah, blah, blah. So you'll have, be allowed 3 minutes to address the board.
Sure.
Please limit your comments to the topics that are appropriate for bringing to the board. The board president may interrupt you if your comments stray into an area that should not be discussed in open session. And the Missouri Sunshine Law limits the ability of board members to respond to your comments. Consequently, it is unlikely that the board will engage in a discussion of your topic during this meeting.
Who is the board president now?
John Lewis, you're speaking
We're
to.
I
it's
just
short
wondered.
term, right? Yep.
All right. Should I start?
Sure.
My
Go
name
on.
is Jane Heine. My husband is Steve. We have 6 kids in the district. We've been living here for 17 years, and this is the first time I've ever had to come to a board meeting. And I'm ashamed to say that it's the first time I've ever had to feel like I needed to address you, but here I am. Yesterday, I got a call at 1:40 in the afternoon while I was at work at Missouri Baptist that my daughter was in the nursing office. She had a headache, dizziness, and nausea. They told me that it was from fumes in the primary building, that many kids were affected, and that to come get her. I said, what? What fumes? Something from the roof, ma'am. I don't have any time to talk to you. I need to get off the phone. There's lots of kids that are sick here. I hung up the phone. I called my husband immediately, who was also at work. He called the fire department to see if anybody had called there. No, they had no idea that was happening. Then I called the primary building back. I said, what is going on? What exposure have they had, and where is my daughter? She was still in the building. I said, remove her from the building. If there's fumes in the building, of course, get them out. Then I was told later that she did. When I came to the primary building, there were 2 tables set up for many parents coming to get their sick kids. I got my daughter, and then, but en route from Missouri Baptist to here, I called 2 roofing companies in St. Louis. Both of them told me, one in broken English, that never would they put roofing sealer of any kind on any building with people in it, especially school children. I said to this man who barely spoke English, if this was his child, what would he do? And he said he would take her to the doctor. I called my physician, the pediatrician, and she said if her symptoms don't resolve, take her to the ER. When I got my daughter, she still felt like she was going to throw up. Then I picked up my other kids. Meanwhile, I called Dr. Kornman. Dr. Kornman, when I asked you what was the name of the building company that you hired, you did not know. When I asked you what the chemical was that was used on the building, you did not know. It was 2:30 in the afternoon when I talked to you. This happened at 9 in the morning. When I came to the primary building and I asked Dr. Calista Costain what happened, she said they smelled it at 9 a.m., that you were called, and you yourself told me you went in there, and you made the decision not to remove my 6-year-old daughter out of that building, or the other children out of that building that was full of fumes. You can tell me that you called the people that put the roofing sealer on and they said that it was safe. You didn't ensure that it was safe. Of course they're going to say it's safe. They put it on. They have a conflict of interest there. When you put roofing sealer of most types that has asphalt in, and it is exposed to heat, it can produce a chemical that can endanger people. Dr. Kornman was so kind to email me the material safety data sheet for the substance that the company Tremco, that he said is what, when I asked Dr. Kornman, what's the name of the company? He said the shirt said on the man, Republic. And then he clarified with somebody in the office and they said this company. He did call me back a half an hour and tell me that it was this. According to the safety data sheet, which you all had, the acute toxicity of inhalation of the vapor is 99.12%. Acute toxicity of the inhalation of dust or mist is 100%. And that avoid breathing dust, fume, gas, it's a category 1 carcinogen, may damage fertility. So from 20 years from now, if my daughter wants to get pregnant and can't, maybe I'll know why. And the goal is to move to fresh air. My daughter was not moved to fresh air. She was left in the building when you smelled it at 9 a.m. until I called. And when I called and said to the person that called me, get my daughter out of the building, then I assume that's when she was moved. I do know that they opened the windows, that they tried to ventilate the building, but to me that was of little effect. And moreover, whether or not anybody is going to have cancer from this, we're never going to know. Right. But what I do know, Dr. Kornman, is you are our superintendent. You should have known when you went in that building that there was a problem, to trust the principal who wanted to remove the children, and to not micromanage, or at least find out what the name of this substance was, the name of the company, have them come in, notify the health department, call the fire department. These are normal things that should have happened. And they didn't happen, and they are your fault. They're not anyone else's fault. They're not the building supervisor's fault. They're not the principal's fault. They are your fault. That was my daughter's safety. And I am probably out of time.
You're out way over, but I gave you an extra 2 minutes.
Thank you for
We're
listening.
going to address that in a couple reports and stuff.
I am upset, you can tell,
Sure.
but it's my
Definitely.
daughter's health.
You bet.
All right, thank you for listening.
You bet. All right, any more visitors? No. All right. Approval of consent agenda items as presented.
I would like to pull the minutes from August 27th, September 3rd, the Student Council National Convention, and summer school to talk about.
Okay.
Okay.
With those being pulled, do we have a second? Okay. You want a roll call vote? No? No? All those in favor? 4-0. All right. Do we start with the First one? Then?
First one?
Yeah.
August the 27th minutes and item G.
Mhm.
And it was the motion that I made regarding tutoring program. There really should be, okay, a motion was made to approve the reading and math tutoring program for 27 weeks at $100 per day for the primary and secondary schools, period. The intermediate, and I had this written down here, the intermediate school tutoring program to be discussed at a future time, such as December or January. Because the way it's reading here, it looks like the primary and elementary is only until January, and that's not what we had said.
We need to revise that.
So that was just a oops, but
Sure.
changed the intent of the motion. And also an I think there's just an oops in numbers there. You got 25 and 25 twice.
Right. Or 25, 26. That was, what about the, that's just the,
So was it supposed to be 25 and 26? I didn't-
yeah, 26.
Okay. I didn't remember that part. I knew it was.
All right. Do we have an approval for that? Line A1? Do we need to approve that then separately?
So,
Entertain the motion?
so moved.
There you go. Second. Discussion?
That was my discussion.
Before, I know, I screwed up. That's my fault.
That's all right.
All right. No more discussion? Raise a hand. 2?
Okay, the September 3rd meeting.
Mm-hmm.
The adjournment, the very last, the approval by show of hands, the vote was 4-0 because John Stewart had already left.
You're right.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have been.
We had a motion for 7A2 amend. Discussion, previous. All in favor? F5, summer school.
I'm not sure I need to put this in motion form yet, but I would like to consider our 12-month administrators taking responsibility or having a role in summer school in the future. We had talked about that this last year, but it came down in January, February, and that wasn't enough time for them to prepare. And I think there were some issues that occurred that would not have occurred if we had veteran administrators on site.
All right. So do you want to?
So is that something that we want to
Directive
go
or-
ahead and discuss and move and take care of tonight, or is that something that we should wait until we have 7?
I think 7.
It's not an agenda item, but the only issue
Right,
here.
it was under
Yeah.
summer school,
Yes.
which is why
I
I
have them all.
was,
So you could approve the summer school report, and then we can add, consider 12-month administration in summer school to the next meeting
and
agenda.
then our 12-month, that would give 2 elementary level and 2 secondary level, and that would give them time to share with us as to whether we should do that or not do that.
I'm good with it. All right, so you want to make a motion to approve summer school with directive? No?
Just
to
to
talk, okay.
put it on
All
the
right.
agenda next
And
time.
I'll put this on the agenda next time.
Second? Second? So I'll
Oh,
second.
second, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Honestly.
Beth? Lisa? All right. Show of hands. 7G1 Stuco National Conference.
Okay, and again, this might be something that we want to wait on. Personally, I believe that as a board, we need to have some type of guideline for national conventions. This came up last year, and when you look back over, a national convention is a lot different than a state convention. And so my question is this something that as a board we want to approve, especially when kids aren't involved?
Right.
Every year versus once every 3 years, once every 5 years, and again, I'm not sure that we need to decide this
Right.
tonight, because we have 2 national conventions on the agenda, but unless there's something that I missed, it seems like that it could be done at the next meeting when there's actually 7 of us.
Sure.
And am I right or am I wrong? Because Eddie was one, and then student council was the other.
As far as,
Postponing the decision until October when we have 7 to actually discuss.
yes.
Time frame.
Not a that's what
Well, I don't want to speak for student council because I don't know what the registration deadlines are, the flight delays, things like that. But I don't foresee an issue with that.
because I thought yours was like in November, there was a November date for cancellation, etc. And student council, I didn't actually see that.
That's on the
anywhere.
agenda too.
And there's.
Right.
Is it?
Yeah, his is on there, but it kind of deals with both of them.
We can have some new information.
You're saying the date of the event is December 3 and the 6th.
Correct.
For
And there,
Stuco.
in the
And you're-
information, there was, I didn't know what the cancellation date was, that could be postponed until
Next
October when
month.
there's 7 of us.
Okay.
That's fine.
Because I,
Dr. Freeman, any
instead
thoughts
of
on that?
dealing with this every year, I didn't see anything, but
I'm looking. It looks like that there's plenty of time for cancellation of the hotel because they have until November 30th
that's what okay.
to cancel.
Okay, so
I'm not sure about flight, I'll be very honest with you.
do y'all want us to bring this back to next meeting then, October meeting?
Unless the rest of you feel comfortable in.
Well, the Stuco, you mean? Stuco only?
Yeah, well, just simply, I think we ought to have a guideline from the board to, deal with the national conventions so that we don't have to go through every single one of them all the time. Like, we're gonna approve this every year,
Umbrellas.
we're gonna approve this once every 3 years for
Well, the one
a
we're doing every
particular
2
group.
years. That's-
Right, he didn't go last year,
Right.
Once every 5 years, whatever, discussion.
Sure. I mean, you want
Am I
to
confusing?
table this or
Yes.
just table this?
So move to table.
Move to the table. Second. I'll second. All in favor? There we go. All right. We have superintendent's report. Doc, you're up.
All right, I sent home to you information that was released by Missouri School Board Association regarding transgender students, the model policy that they're starting to draft. They've listed a lot of information down there that I wanted to give to you so you could start reading through as the board begins to develop their policy related to transgender students. As you can read, it talks about the discrimination, harassment, restrooms, locker rooms utilization. Also talked about some information we had distributed to parents, and I believe each of you might have received, I hope. If not, it's listed here about the California case, 2013, as well as the Colorado case and the Maine Supreme Court case. All those were important cases that were just recently handed down. So I hope that you've taken the opportunity to read over that. We've also included in the board packet for you to start the process is the policy that MSBA did send to us. A couple other things that I want to talk to you about. DESE is beginning to prepare, was recognized for its plan to improve access to excellent teachers. I thought that was a really nice thing. The plan includes long-range strategies to recruit highly skilled staff, definitely in areas of critical shortage, which of course is your math and your sciences, chemistries, and things of that nature. Also wanted to bring your attention to the transfer update. It did not make enough votes in the veto session, so that has failed to move beyond the veto vote. So that we'll see, I'm sure, we'll see another transfer debate come up in the next legislative session, and we will keep you informed on that. I spent a few days or hours or years talking to Kim Jackson about Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act, which I think is very important to make sure kids are fed healthy, well nutritious meals. One of the things I have noticed is that students of a lower socioeconomic status are not used to eating whole grain crust and low calorie, low sodium cheese. I see a lot more waste than we had prior to Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act. There's a big debate going on if it's going to be reauthorized. So I provided a little information to you there for your review as well. Want to mention, as we talked about a couple of meetings ago, there was, I think 3 of us are still going to the MSBA meetings. 4 of us. Well, 3 board members and myself.
Oh,
yeah. So we have homecoming that Friday night against DeSoto, big rivalry. So I will drive up at the end of the football game, and I will see you there on Saturday.
Good luck.
Also wanted to point out Columbia Schools adoption, and I know Director Stevenson and I talked about this with regard to non-discrimination policy AC, which is what you already have. Non-discrimination based upon transgender as a protected class. So I wanted to provide that information for you to review as well. At this time, there is no legislative update. Soon we'll start getting those to you. And I provided a little calendar of things that are going on upcoming the next month or so.
Thank you. Next is Facilities and Grounds, Ray. Superstar.
Good evening. All right. This report's going to be a little short, so I sent some pictures to you, just in case you didn't get an opportunity to look at the wall we put together to protect the switch towers over at the junior high. So I included that in the report. With our busy month we've had in August, we did complete 151 work orders, but one of the biggest projects we started working on was getting the winter prepared. We want to let you know that we've already contracted with the salt companies. We went with Martin Salt this year. We're bringing in 50 tons. The cost of the district approximately $67.25 for 70 tons total. We spent approximately $81.63 last year, so we're going to be spending about a lot less, but about the same amount of tonnage. So, so we should be in good shape. We've already started looking at our plows and stuff like that to make sure the equipment's in good shape. So, we are prepared for that season already. So, and basically, that's a pretty short report on that part. Now, we do have some updates if we want to go into
Yeah,
first
I want to thank Mrs. Heine for coming up here. I appreciate her passion for her children. I think as all parents, I wish that all parents exhibit the same passion toward their kids. I know all parents love their kids, but some parents don't take the time to be actively involved. I appreciate her calling. She is correct. She did call and ask the company. I did tell her it was Trimco. However, the gentleman had a shirt on that said Republic. And I want to reiterate to her as well as the public, when Ray and I were notified about the odor, we immediately went down to the building. As we spoke to the company that was installing, it was our understanding and Ray's understanding, and I trust Ray. I think Ray does a phenomenal job for us. Ray has used Trimco and their company for a lot of years. He's been associated since Jimmy Turner's been with us. Part of the policy, in order to keep our roof and the warranty in place, it has to go through an annual review. I knew that they were on site walking the roof. We did not know that they were going to be doing a fix at that time. They found 2 small spots, and I say they're about the size of what, Ray, of a soccer ball, the yes. Diameter, basketball diameter, not thickness, but in width of diameter. 2 spots by some air conditioners, some rooftop units, RTUs. What had happened was the fresh air intakes were open. When the individual started smelling what was going on, we immediately, Ray and his group, turned down or shut the fresh air intakes. From that point, we opened windows for ventilation and we started pumping fresh air into the facility. It was only in pockets. It was not in the entire school building. We did smell it heavily in the multi-age hallway as well as a few other areas throughout the building. At that time, no one was exhibiting any nausea or any headaches. So we had some particular teachers, when it was strong in their classroom, we told them to remove their kids. That was around 10 o'clock. They went outside for extra reading time, read underneath a tree. They also, while we were working to figure out what was going on. The company actually manufactures the product. It's not a third-party product that they put on. It is their product. They were telling us it's non-toxic. They've never had this issue happen before, but ultimately it did happen to us. As I explained to Mrs. Heine, our role here is to decide and review our process, the decisions that I made, to determine was it the best decision and should we have made a better decision and what will we do next time. I know Ray and his team spent till 1:30, 1 o'clock last night working to mitigate any smells from the building. This morning we did have our local EMS walk the building with their gauges and monitors. Nothing could be smelled. We kept the fresh air intakes closed, right, Ray, for the day. But as that roof started heating up again, a residual odor, but nothing like we had yesterday, could be smelled. So from that point, we decided we weren't taking any chances. We sent all the kids home. We've also had Trimco and their company working to remove, when we first had the smell yesterday, it was our understanding that product was taken off the roof, right, Ray? And another product was put down to harden that spot so there wouldn't be any residual odors. It was also covered with a granular product similar to ground up kitty litters, basically what it looked like to me. For some reason, the product started moving or leaching around. I know Ray has spent a lot of time at the primary trying to fix the issue. We've been in contact not only with Trimco, the individuals that installed it, but also their site manager, area reps. And we have with us tonight one of their reps that was flying in, I think, from Phoenix back to Cleveland, who made a stop in Lambert, who's here to talk to you tonight with regard to Ray's report on that process. So if the board would like to hear more, we have Trimco here and George Loader, who is the Director of Environmental Health and Safety. Would you come on up, please?
Sure. You did.
Yeah, or we can give you a chair, whatever. You can take Ray's chair.
So,
You go ahead. I'll stand.
that's fine. Rob?
So I'll introduce myself. Again, I'm George Loader. I'm the Director of Environmental Health and Safety for Trimco. And Dr. Foreman and Board, thank you for taking time to allow me to come in today. Unfortunately, I am just arriving from Phoenix, so I don't have a whole lot of the details about the activities. I'm here to get, gather information, understand the sequence of events, and to help make sure that we put all of the resources in place to correct it in a way that's satisfying to you and obviously to the community at large. I do represent Trimco Incorporated. We are the manufacturers of the materials, as well as we have an installation company that does the installation of the materials. This roof, I understand, is greater than 4 years old, and with a warranty inspection program, it does go through normal service inspections, quality inspections, to verify that it will withstand the warranty coverage that's provided for your roof. I did take some time to look at the material safety data sheets of the material that was used for the repair, and I think you explained it really well. With the it is a tar-based material, so it does have a tar odor to it, which is primarily an irritant odor. The chronic health effects were explained earlier from reading the SDS, and yes, there is a difference. I guess I wanted to just make sure we all understood a bit of the acute effects versus chronic health effects of materials. Those acute effects are those things that are short-term and are onset by exposure for a shorter period of time. So the chronic health effects are the ones that we do disclose in our SDSs, and those are there for those working crews who work with this material every day up close, and it triggers personal protective equipment for those workers who are using it on a daily basis, chronic being over a long period of time. And those are some of what we heard of
earlier and well stated from what the SDS does represent. I do understand that from our discussion so far, we have the materials and a crew ready to start as early as tomorrow morning. And the strategy, as Ray and Rob have been discussing, would be to remove all of the materials that were associated with those repairs and install a more environmentally friendly material, which we have available to us, which is a lower VOC, lower volatile organic compound mixture. It has an asphalt base to it, so it does have an odor to it. You know, roofing materials do have odors, and as do road asphalt projects. And when you pass by them in a hurry, as I do as well, you know, you'll get that initial irritant, and you want to open your windows and get the fresh air. Yes, understand all of that. But we have a low odor, low VOC roofing material that has been developed and put into place since your original installation that we can use to remove the pieces, the components of the repairs, and install this newer material. It has a much shorter curing time, 24-hour curing time. So that's why, again, the sooner, you know, if we're able to start as early as tomorrow morning. I understand you got some conflicts with some folks, staff who may be in the building. Alternately, we talked about Saturday morning start, but I believe, based on our review of the materials, 24-hour cure time would put you in a very good position for a Monday morning restart without odors in the building.
Okay. And I think one of the things I want to ask point blank in front of the public and the board, the decision that Ray and I made, the decision that I made after talking with Ray and discussing this is a product that Ray and his crew has used before on our roofs. But the question I have is that it was my understanding that this was non-toxic. Even though it is an irritant, it's not toxic to the system. Is that the case? Because that's what we were told.
Well, it's unique to use the word toxic. I mean, it's not unique to use it, but every chemical has a different property to exposure. Not chronically toxic, it does have an irritating odor to it. That doesn't mean it's attacking your system or anything, but yes, it does have an irritating odor to it. Okay. School projects, school repairs do occur routinely throughout the country with students in the classrooms. Repair, big tear-offs and rebuilds, so forth, you know, tend to happen, you know, more on the summer jobs, but it's not uncommon for small repairs to occur. Some of the things that we talked about, the ventilation systems, many of those activities, like turning off the your system is designed with fresh air makeup in the HVAC systems, which allow fresh air to come into your building as it disperses versus just recirculating the air inside. It is normal to turn off your fresh air makeup when you're doing work in and around HVAC systems. I understand that was not done at the time the job was started, it was done later. There are other techniques that we can employ that are commonly used in our business. One is when it's essential to have that fresh air makeup, oftentimes we will put a charcoal filter over that fresh air makeup to dissipate the odors, to minimize any odors entering into the building.
Another question I have, local EMS, I looked at the ERGs, the Emergency Response Guidebook, based upon your material safety data sheets. I've also called, I think, is it Chemtrek?
Chemtrek.
Visit with Chemtrek about the procedures that the district followed yesterday. And I've also had our local EMS go through this with us. Have you had this happen before? I think that's a good question to ask. But yesterday, Ray and I were told, right, Ray, that this is something unique that's never happened to your company before. Have you had ever had students become, or staff members become nauseated or have headaches with the application of this material?
You know, I can't speak to this material specifically, but I can say yes, we have had other odor complaints, you know, as a roofing company.
This is more than just odor. I mean, people became sick.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's more than just odor.
No, and I'm not, I don't want to be belittled by just saying odor, yeah. Odor carries with it something, right?
Right.
And it's, you know, I understand that there were some students that were nauseated or
Yes,
okay.
headaches.
Headaches, okay. Yeah.
And from our perspective, you know, when we hear non-toxic, meaning it just, you know, a lot of people don't like to smell sauerkraut cooking. All right, it puts off an odor. They don't like it.
Right.
But it's not going to harm their body or cause them to get physically ill.
Yes.
When that happened that afternoon, we immediately called parents. We were getting kids out of the building simply because my decision is based upon the best information I have. And the best information I had came from you, as well as talking to the different people of how to proceed in this process. So what, I guess, is my question. If tomorrow, you can't work tomorrow afternoon past beyond 2:45, because our staff, correct, will be gone at 2:45.
With all due respect, could I point out something, Dr. Corman? Are you honestly going to say to all of these people here that you made that decision to remove them when you know you didn't?
No, I'm talking about call parents and have those kids removed from the building.
Because they were sick from 9 a.m.
Right.
till 1:40. And when you asked him if it was not toxic, he can't say it's not. He knows it is. It's hydrogen sulfide that can be produced from the heat. It is chronically toxic. In the acute stage, remove the people. It wasn't done. It was your decision not to do
Okay,
it.
I understand that.
And what he's saying that other schools weren't affected before is because the intake was turned off. So the intake wasn't turned off, fumes were pulled into the school. And little children were left to smell it. If they have asthma, they can have asthma. It could have ended really badly. But please don't say that you made the decision to remove them after people were sick. It should have happened at 9 a.m. I'm sorry, I'm misspeaking. I know I shouldn't be.
I think the important thing to remember too is these are pediatric children, pediatric patients that we're talking about in essence. The rate of absorption, the way these chemicals affect them is different than it affects an adult. That you have to really consider that. Those MSDS sheets, they're great, but I don't know for sure, but I'll almost guarantee they don't take into account pediatric patients. I mean, you know, whether you're talking about medication or anything else, it's completely different than a peds patient. So I mean, that's something else we need to consider too. And who do we have in the primary? Pediatric patients, 6 years old to 8, 9 years old. So that's something we need to consider too and think about, you know, when we're dealing with this. And whether it's, you know, I mean, putting a charcoal filter right away, or I mean, realistically, not even attempting this fix while there's students there. Right. I think that is the key take-home point, regardless of how safe or unsafe it is. I mean, you know, perfume can affect somebody. You know, perfume. I know people that get migraines from perfume. Some of the lotion my wife wears makes me sick. You know, but
and she's not
you know,
I
know. But she'll watch the video, I'm sure. But what I'm trying to say is, you know, we need to think about these things ahead of time and be more proactive than reactive, and not say, oh my gosh, all these kids are getting affected. We need to think ahead of time and say, oh, wait a minute. What could happen? Think about the worst case scenario if it doesn't go as planned. And if we get fumes in the building, what do we need to do? Well, you know, let's see the plan. The kids aren't here. The staff isn't here. I do, you know, I want to discuss tomorrow morning. We've got staff tomorrow morning. Staff that are still feeling the effects of this from the last 2 days. I think at the very least, 3:30, 3 o'clock, whatever time they leave, or Saturday.
2:45.
2:45, okay. So
I would prefer to be done 2:45 tomorrow,
yeah,
so we at least have another
day to cure.
We do it on Saturday.
But I don't think at all it should be done while staff is there. At all.
You said,
go ahead. Another question, and I don't mean to keep going here, but I've got a few more. You said you've got a low VOC product that's been developed. Why wasn't that used in the first place? Why was this other product used? And I don't know who may answer that. I know you weren't on site, but that's something I think we need to answer too. Why, if we've got a product that may not have these concerns, again, we still shouldn't be applying this when there's kids there. But if we have a product that can minimize that or alleviate that, use that. If it is, you know, if it's as effective, if it's going to do the same thing, you know, use that. And Ray, this may be a question for you or Dr. Corman, I'm not sure. Did we have roof repairs last week on the intermediate as well?
Yeah.
Same company?
No, we did those.
You did those, okay. And then,
No problem.
has Trimco, when was the last
They had
time?
a little bit
They had a little bit of a, they got a little bit
yeah.
older, but the kids
No.
were not sick.
Yeah, no, and
Not
again,
like that.
you know,
And
they're
Mr.
older
Reed
kids
now
too.
moved a couple of rooms.
They are
had
older
to
kids
be
too, so
older.
it's gonna affect them differently potentially. And
Well,
then
in that
also,
case,
go
too,
ahead, so go ahead.
last week, we was also prepared for the HVAC system.
Okay.
Where, and their systems are a lot different in these buildings, in the primary, for example, as well, because a lot of stuff, the primary is manually controlled, where all this other is computerized.
Okay.
So it's a lot easier to handle dampers, airflow, percentages, and so forth. Where this one wasn't quite prepared for that because they got there before and made that repair before we was aware of it.
okay.
So,
And then going back, trying to remember back, and it gets hard for me sometimes, but last September, I vaguely remember Mike telling me that there was an issue when a roof was being repaired above the gymnasium or something. Does that ring a bell at all? Was that Trimco or was that
We did.
our guys? Okay, okay. So, and the product that was used in the intermediate and last year, is it the same product they're using, or was it, okay, okay. So
yeah,
we
it's
got,
similar to what they're doing.
so we got two other previous instances of whatever's happening, these fumes getting in there. You know, I mean, we probably need to look at this and think about this and kind of look at our history and say, okay, we've done this twice. It hasn't been as big of an issue, but again, we've got these fumes coming in there both last week and last year. We really need to probably think about that as a board and as administration of maybe we need to do these type of repairs when they're not there. You know, I'll use the floors when they get waxed, stripped and waxed. That's done when students aren't there because of the volatility of the fumes. You know, I used to work nights for years, and they did it in my farm, you know, outside, and that smell was horrible. So I can't imagine a child, you know, having to smell that. So, you know, I know we do those for those reasons. We probably should look into doing those type of repairs, you know, in the same.
And I believe Ray
way.
has already put a note in the file that
Okay.
he talked to me about that repairs of that type would happen on
Good.
Saturday.
Good.
That's kind of the conversation we had. And I agree, and I'm going to tell you, from our perspective, when Ray and I, when we're walking the building and we're hearing it's an odor, it'll dissipate in an hour or two, and, you know, 10 o'clock, hour or two, it's going to be gone. We ventilate. If had I known kids were going to get sick, of course I'd have called. Who wants kids getting sick?
Of course,
I'd
I
call
said
off
always
school.
2020, but you know,
But knowing what the information we have and what we're told is the best working knowledge we have, but we know better now. I mean, that's just what that boils down to.
Ray, is the stuff that you've been doing internally, is it the same product?
Yeah, we've used the same stuff they use. I mean, they provide it for us.
Were you, whenever he did when they did the walkthrough to check the inspection, were you with him?
No.
No.
They did the inspection warranty work themselves.
So you guys
They go
typically,
first.
it's procedure just to repair it as you see it, or make a mark and
During a
contact?
quality assurance inspection, which is what that was, if they would find something, it's preventative maintenance that's done, you know, that can extend the service life of that roof. They see an item that's going to degrade the roof if left unattended. It is typical procedure to do that.
Right there on the spot?
Yes.
Instead of
Kids in the
coming back
class.
and doing it later.
It's typical procedure to do it.
Right there.
What about notifying? I mean, that's where Ray and I are now.
We
were
can
notified
adjust
to close
however
that stuff
you
down.
would instruct us.
Like, do you do a lot of schools, education
Yes.
buildings and stuff? I mean, your procedures is to do it and not warn or
That is what the inspectors are instructed to do.
to notify?
No, they are instructed to make the repairs.
And let me ask another question. I'll kind of
That's
expand on what
solid.
Mrs. Heine said. I also spoke with a roofing company today, and the gentleman I spoke with really reflected what she said, and the fact that their contract actually states that they do not step foot on the property until after the students are gone. In addition, I asked him, okay, this was warranty work, or my understanding was it was warranty work. There were spots noticed that had to get fixed. Okay, great. You know, would that get fixed then, or would they come back? And again, he said, no, absolutely not. Students ever won't do it. I know every company may be a little bit different on how they look at things, but I mean, can you kind of maybe give some insight on why you guys look at it that way, so to speak, doing it while their students are not really, I want to say not looking out for students because that's the wrong word, but it's not taking precautions, so to speak, if that makes sense.
I can't speak to that. That's more of a
I
national
could
level.
say, yeah, most, those arrangements for when to do the work are all negotiated between the customer and the
So when that original contract was done?
contract is done, yes. If there are special provisions that state only weekend work, only when these conditions are in place, then those are, yeah.
Well, we're stating them now.
Well,
I mean,
Yes.
because ultimately, myself and Ray are here in front of this public who's upset, and they should be.
Absolutely,
And
yes.
Ray and I are put in this position ultimately because of a decision made by you guys by not giving us a heads up, which we could have made things. I mean, that's the concern I have.
well,
So-
we could have sent them.
And I mean, the concern, I mean, that's, you know, we've put kids in
It's
danger,
jeopardy.
and that's, you know, that's, I don't want to do that.
Are the
I've got a kindergartner in there. My wife works in the building. My daughter was in there yesterday, and my wife went for 20 minutes and got a headache. So I mean, it does affect me personally. But the other aspect of it is, we got 2 instructional days now that are shot.
Sure.
You know, the kids didn't get to take part in what they were supposed to. They didn't get to learn what they were supposed to. So that pushes everything back. Assessments weren't done in certain situations because the classrooms had to get moved. So I mean, you know, that's something I think needs to get looked to too. And I think, as a board, my personal opinion is, you know, when we do work on these contracts again, we need to put something in there, some type of clause that if an instructional day gets disrupted for some reason, then, you know, there's some sort of reparations paid. I
Like
don't know.
liquidated type damages?
Yeah, exactly, something. And realistically, I mean, if we set it up in such a way that they don't work until students are gone, that would be a good point. But
Because that's our
so,
focus for the kids, education of the kids.
exactly.
Eric, you anything else?
I was writing the notes. Sorry.
Keep on, you got time. I have a question though.
I think that's it.
Are your installers subcontracted or are they Tremco employees?
They're employees of a company, you might be able to answer this better from a corporate structure. There is a company that is a sister company of Tremco called Weatherproofing Technologies Incorporated. That is who they work for, that's who it's on their company letterhead.
And we know that, right? And then, are they local?
The people,
Well, the company.
the company, we're all based out of
Ohio.
Cleveland,
We're all
Ohio.
based out of
They're both companies though?
Both
Tremco and-
companies, Tremco and WTI, Weatherproofing Technologies Incorporated.
And were any of the installers ones that you've dealt with in the past, right?
One of them was. That was
I just know when you deal with subcontractors or when you, you know,
Yeah.
and some guys don't have the best day or the best intentions there, that, you know, I think we need to make sure
These
we
are,
check that.
these are professional roofers looking out for the warranty of their roof. So yes, they're not going to be off the street roofers, but it's
Sure.
not something that is.
The
I'm just
roof is
surprised
the-
they did the repair
Right. The
myself.
roof is the focus instead of the kids being the focus.
Exactly.
Is the conflict of interest.
Yes, the front
I
end
mean-
planning of this is really where the
Right.
breakdown was. We could all agree to that. You know, there are
Because
ventilation measures.
a lot of these repairs, just so you know, with Trimco, they've been with us for a few years now.
How many-
This is not the first time that they've done repairs.
During the school day.
They've never had a problem.
During
But
school?
it- but it-
And when
Well-
our next facility, we can't have that.
Yeah,
I mean, they can't.
and I understand there's never been an issue, and that's great. Thank you guys for that work, but it only takes one time. And that's what we really need to drive home here, is it only takes one time for something to happen. And then we're sitting there going, wow, why didn't we think of this? You know, it's,
The history here does go back better than a decade with our company in the district.
Ms. Walker? Anybody? Beth?
No, good too.
Recovery?
Yeah.
Doc? Thank you, guys.
So tomorrow,
Tomorrow.
the decision is
Right.
after school?
Tomorrow, we need them to do it after school, 2:45.
Well,
We probably
Is
want to
that-
move to Saturday, to be honest with you, because it takes about 6 to 8 hours to do this. They'll run out of daylight and heat. They need a little bit of sunlight to do that job. So it'll probably be moved on.
What's the
Saturday.
likelihood we're not going to have any
Monday.
other issues come
Monday.
Monday?
3:15?
Because it'll finish out within
We're not
24
finished till
hours.
3:15.
So it's supposed to be, this,
It's gonna be
this,
Saturday.
this project is supposed to be in place, hardened up, no residual odors in 24 hours.
This is a low salt.
That's correct. And we'll have somebody to monitor that, likely myself.
Okay, because I know when I crawled up on the roof today to look at this patch repair, I mean, it looked to me like, as Ray, that it kind of slid down, that the
Yes,
the
Rob was up
granule was
there
not
with it,
packed
too.
on top of it.
Right. That's what they're gonna take all off, that whole corner.
Okay, all the black.
They'll take the whole corner
Okay.
out.
All right.
Yes, the plan is to remove what it is stuck to, the base sheet entirely, and have it moved off, bagged and taken off the property.
Okay.
So we will monitor it while we're doing it. We'll come back and monitor it over the weekend to ensure that, you know, Saturday evening, Sunday morning, that it's doing as we're saying that it'll do.
We had the EMS come in and
Yes.
measure it
They
Sunday
were
night?
here. Well, here's the problem. EMS walked the buildings with us this morning and gave it the all clear, because nothing was smelled. And their meters only check, you know, carbon monoxide, explosives, and what was it? Not gasoline. There was one other thing that it checked. So, I mean, all we can do is walk through with our team like we did this time, see if we smell anything. And we're not going to do that on Sunday, Ray. You and I can come up here on Sunday and walk that building, see if we smell anything. Because as that roof heats up, that's the issue. It's not early in the morning, it's when that roof starts getting hot, they start smelling.
We talked, so definitely gonna do it Saturday. There was talk about maybe having a.
Right, any way we can get, change the filters out, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, they will be.
Can we get a little higher grade filter rather than just the blue glass filters? What kind do you put in there?
It's a badging filter. It's basically put in rolls, which is changed every 30 days.
Can we do anything with charcoal filters or anything of that nature?
Yeah, we can get them.
Okay. At least on that B wing and multi-age hauling.
Yeah.
This will be here Saturday. We don't have to change anything tomorrow.
I'm sorry, can I just add that when you look at your inlet filtering, if you're looking at covering those, pay special attention to the wind direction, so that you're also covering those any downwind of the work activities as well.
Okay.
And the material does tend to be heavier than air, so if you have a lower section of the roof that has inlets, you want to cover those as well. Or turn off the recirculating.
Hopefully, it's still on.
Thanks.
Yep.
Yep. Well, it's not right. Unfinished business, moving on. We had some following items that were tabled at August 27th, 2015 meeting. BBFA, do we want to, yes.
I move the table BBFA, GCB, GCI, GDC until the 3 vacant board
Very good.
seats are approved.
Second? Second. Raise your, raise your hand for if you're in favor. Good, 4-0. Table handbook, Dr. Isaacson, are you going to discuss this after we get a motion?
I move to approve the transportation handbook as presented.
Second. Never mind, Dr. I. All in favor? Made a motion. Oh, discussion.
Oh, I thought we were going to discuss.
Go ahead, discussion,
I
yes.
just had a question.
Yes.
After kind of going through all that, are we short transport drivers? Well, that's not the handbook, but as I was kind of reading some of the comments,
Well, we have a couple,
was-
one driver out on FMLA, we were trying to hire some.
We are, like many districts, we're constantly hiring, and there is, we've lost a few in the last couple months. But we're being roads. We have subs that are filling in, but we're actively always looking for that.
So, are we good to meet routes without having, like, the director of transportation
No,
drive?
they all drove
and
yesterday.
They all drove
We
yesterday.
had six
so we're
of them
struggling.
drove
That
yesterday.
was my, okay.
Because people call in sick or no call, no shows, and
Yeah.
then we have to scramble to cover. In fact, they asked me to drive, and I said, well, I haven't had the physical, but I'm gonna go get it so I can sub and drive. So we're shorthanded when it comes to subs because we just don't.
Petrie, anyone? Vote? All in favor? Aye? Right? Good, 4-0. New business, approval of bills for payments, $717,309.15. Do I have a motion to approve the bills for that amount as presented?
So moved.
Petrie. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. 4-0. It's getting too easy. All right, set tax rate for 2015-16. Do I have a motion to set the 2015 incidental levy at $3.75 and 86? Hundreds, whatever.
Whatever it
Debt
says up
service
there on the
levy,
wall.
yes, 9.9493 with a total levy of $4.7079. Motion, anybody?
Move.
Yeah, I'll second it. Discussion? No discussion. All in favor, raise your right. 4-0. Approval of surplus auction items. Did we pull that, or no? No.
We have some discussion.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the list of surplus items as presented and approve October 24, 2015 at 8 a.m. as this date and time of the auction? Discussion?
There's a couple of things. First, I want to bring up. We mentioned to Ray, we have, as the Follett Mrs. Rain company that's interested, they have the capability of taking some of the textbooks on consignment and marketing them out to other school districts to where you might get a little bit more money than you would if you just ran them through the standard auction. Because typically, if things don't go through the auction, Ray would get a big dumpster and discard them appropriately. So I need to know what the will of the board is. If you're, I'm not for sure how many it was, but it was just a few. It was not 2 or 3 skids, but right now you have, I think, 3 skids of ELA, ODLA textbooks, English language arts textbooks.
Who is it that's taking?
Follett.
They buy. Okay.
Resale,
Yeah,
textbook
I know that.
resale.
Okay.
So we'll get more money.
It's possible. I don't want to say you will, but you're going to have a different marketing. They're going to
Right.
market at least statewide,
Sure.
not just in our local paper for auction.
So could some of those items be pulled
Yes.
before this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We will check on that.
Okay,
Yeah, if there's anything.
if we chose to do that.
Do we fill it separate?
No, you can just say it's okay to
Okay.
go ahead and do that, and that'll be the understanding. We just needed the directive to go ahead and do it.
All right, and that's what we discussed earlier.
So these things that are being auctioned, whether it's desks or, I don't know, VCRs, I know we don't use those hardly anymore, but are those things that are, they're discarded because they're damaged, or is it just nobody's using them?
Older technology, or some things, if you read on here, I think Ray done a good job in telling you what was not working, like the treadmill.
Yeah.
Now, no one's really going to want a broken treadmill unless there's parts for their one at home. I don't know, but some of the things like the Clark propane stripping machine, some of them get outdated or get updated equipment, new equipment, things of that nature.
Okay.
And then record players, the old 45 style, we don't really need those. We had about 50 overhead projectors we were trying to sell at one time. And the reason we do this is your board policy says that you will offer it out on auction for bid. And also because all that's down in our transportation barn, and we need all those bays open to bring buses in for the winter. So that's why we try to plan each fall to have a clearinghouse down there.
Ray, how many people usually show up to the auction? Average?
Average, I'd say probably about 20 dealers that like to show up, that's pretty consistent with us. Last year, I think they had approximately 47 people signed in for the auction for bidding.
So there's good.
So that's a good turn and a decent turnout.
And how much do you end up pitching?
Really not terribly a lot, because like most of what you get leftovers like books, and those usually get through the recycling program.
Sure.
So that works out for that.
Yeah.
There'll be some things that some people will buy as a group. Sometimes toward the end, the auctioneer will sell it as a group, and sometimes may not want that one desk, and they'll leave it behind. And anything that's left behind by policy, we have to leave it for 15 days before we can do anything at all with it. That's usually when it may go to the dump, to the dumpster, is after that period of time.
Got it.
Okay.
All right, so we had motion that. All in favor, raise your right. 4-0. Approval of pet costs. Do I have a motion to approve the Anderson solution for their guarantee service returning without charge if an issue comes up within that month for $3,900 for annual service? A second. And 2 seconds. Lisa, second. Discussion?
I just had a question. Ray, in this you had said that you didn't feel the service wasn't there, such as, like a couple of examples.
What we see is a lot of times we hear the buildings call us back for some of the same problems that they should have took care of.
Visits.
You know, some of the insects, it should be a problem. Anderson has some programs that deal with some of the biggest problems, like the ladybug issues we run into in a lot of our buildings, the bees. They actually have programs that can help us with that type of thing, where our local one, or the one we have right now, doesn't apply that.
And they're
So
going
we still
to,
get better service that way.
they're going to apply this when nobody's in the building?
Yes, they have to. It's actually only done, it can only be done at certain times in certain parts of the year and certain locations.
Okay.
So yes, that would be correct.
Does our current service offer a return free of charge?
They do not. If we had to call them back out, they do charge us for another visit. Where this is with Anderson, that's already built in with their agreement.
Any further discussion?
Can they come twice a year?
Twice a year. Eric, everybody good? Raise your right hand if you're in favor. Good. Approval of National Athletic AD Conference in Orlando, Florida. Do I have a motion to allow athletic director to attend the national conference in Orlando, Florida? Motion?
Let's move to table that.
Along with the other one?
Right.
Are we good? Do we want to? Okay.
I think you want to talk a little bit about price.
He said he had some
Right.
stuff changed.
He had some information.
Information, I think is what he said.
For you.
Why don't you vote on the full discussion, you can table it after, which is in the motion.
Can we put it on the floor? I make the motion, we put it on the floor to discuss.
Okay.
All in favor?
No, just
To discuss?
No, don't go to discuss. All right. Got a motion to approve.
Bring it to your way down, come on.
Just discuss.
5 minutes last time.
Come on, boy, yeah, I know.
Just so you're aware, I found out this afternoon from Mike McGurk, who's the head of the MIAAA, which is the Missouri Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association, that
What is that? They do what?
they're head of the state of Missouri for all athletic directors in the state of Missouri. They're the governing body. They work in cohesion with MISHA, Missouri State High School Activity Association. In July, I accepted appointment to the National Athletic Directors Conference Advisory Committee through the NFHS and through the NIAAA, and I found out today that the conference registration fee of $245 is paid for by the MIAAA, as well as the hotel room cost of $680. Therefore, the cost to the district to attend the national conference would be approximately $500. It's $496 to be exact.
So if you know, we had talked today about rooming with a couple of the ADs that we're doing, but since it's paid for,
The room's
there's
paid
no
for
need to
regardless.
deal with
So you're not just simply attending a purpose or role as at the national level.
I had a purpose no matter what.
I said at the national level, Eddie Burrito.
So just that happened this afternoon late.
Now, last year you were going to present, but we didn't send you to that, correct?
Last year I was going to present on the teaching faculty. This year I was, I couldn't apply for that, and they told me I couldn't do any of that until anything was approved or not approved, because last year it was planned for me to present, and then for me to go, so.
And we did discuss every 2 years
Yes.
Last year, so.
But this is a big money savings compared to.
Yes, that's
Yeah, and it's a 4-year appointment, so that will continue for all 4 years with the registration as well as the hotel will be covered by that organization. The only cost to the district would be getting me there. However, we get there, and then the 2 leadership courses that I took. I probably should.
Do you guys have any questions for Mr. Marino? Welcome. Thank you. No. Do we want to keep it tabled, or we want to discuss improvement tonight, or you want to wait till 7? I'm good to go tonight, but
It changes my opinion.
okay.
I still think we need a guideline,
Yeah.
Well,
but
that's what the other one.
this is different.
We'll do, yeah,
Now that
Next
there's
one.
advisory
Sure.
position,
I'm good with that.
I'll invest $500 in Eddie Marino.
It's pocket change for you.
For me? I know.
All right, so we had, discussion. Do we want to move to approve? Open? Amend to approve? Oh, amend.
I have to amend yours.
Will you amend yours?
To approve Eddie Marino's attendance.
Who was second? Eric?
Agree.
You're good? Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say right hand. There you go. We're good. Didn't pay attention a whole lot in the last 4 years. All right, policy ACAE. This is a new policy that MSBA has provided to the districts regarding transgender. Do we want to table that until we get 7? Or
Well, this would be
package?
just the first read.
Just the, right.
And
So
so
do it
we've got
one
2
time.
more to go. But I have 2 comments
Sure.
regarding this.
Well, do we need to make a motion first? or-
Can we just,
You can,
we don't, shouldn't need
you don't need a motion because you're not approving it tonight.
Got it. All right, we're good. Go ahead.
Oh, so because we have been through this and we've already made decisions dealing with this, and I realize that this came from MSBA, so it's very, very general. One of my suggestions before, and it's going to end up going to policy committee, I'm assuming.
We can do that. We're going to have a policy committee meeting, and
I know.
the reason I'm kind of hesitant is because I really don't know that the teachers are going to be interested in, we can allow them to have input,
Well-
but because it's such a legally pressing issue, I didn't know how the board wanted to handle it. I'm fine with taking it to the policy committee. but-
Now this is my personal opinion. I believe not only policy committee, but I would like to, like we do with MSEP, expand that committee and invite a couple of parents, community people to serve on that.
We'll talk about
That have
that.
been vocal
Well,
input, if
and-
that is okay with our policies.
A lot of times with our policies, we have staff or administrators that make comments and forward that to the committee as well. So our staff and administrators
parents,
that have
community.
been actively taking care of this
Issue need to
situation
be on
and
there.
working on this, they
Valuable
definitely need to have their input in there
Okay.
as well.
I know that Beth Ann and I spoke this week about sending out the policies to the teachers. Here's our deal. We need to really wait until we have a full board because
Well, we
to assign those, as we typically do committees, because we've
Well-
lost a couple off of.
But we're on the
Right, you're
policy,
2
so we're
on
good.
policy. So if the board's fine with moving forward.
Because we can't do anything until the 7th.
Correct.
We're here anyway,
Right.
because we have 3 readings.
Right.
But it's just a reading and an opportunity to discuss it. I don't think that.
And so, to me, we need to.
So we will put it in with the policy committee first. And then when the policy committee makes recommendations, I mean, we can send it out. I mean, I can contact Derek Good and other individuals in the community, send it to them, have them, send it to others. We can solicit input. We can do an online survey. I'm sure Dr. Isaacson can put it out there for us to do a survey on. I mean, we can solicit public input that way. Because my issue is typically a lot of individuals are unable to get here due to time and work constraints. If we do something more where they can offer input online at any time, it might be better to get an overall sense of where everyone is on the issue. But it's, just tell us what you want us to do. We can.
Well, I definitely feel that community and parents need to be involved. And as far as the best way, most efficient way, I'm up for suggestions.
Yeah, I say we start with the policy committee, and then when they can get some changes, we'll take, at that same time, send the one we have out to the public.
Okay.
And then the board can take public comment and take policy committee comment and put it together. And then review it for your first actual reading.
We'll try to weed some of it, but you're going to get a lot of
Sure.
extra.
There's going to be a lot of opinions.
Which is true, and that's all right.
And were we going to have a forum, town forum with civil rights or another group that we talk about?
That's up to the board. You can talk about it.
Do we want to do
Yeah, I mean, I know
Well, we
there's-
talked about it last month, bringing in like a town forum and letting them explain
Bringing
all the
all the
civil rights.
experts
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
The-
like countywide.
Yeah.
The Department of
Yes.
Justice,
Right.
the
Civil
lawyers
rights.
from the Department of Justice said that, but the board has to ask them to come in. They would be willing to hold public forums and speak to the community on the issue. So that might be something you're running in conjunction with this policy.
Mhm.
Sure.
But I need to have that directed to do. You're okay with it? We can call them and start setting up some appointments.
I personally, yes.
Definitely.
Because I feel like, you know, we've been slapped
Sure.
with lack of, you know, communication on the issues, and the more information that we have. I personally felt better after I started making some phone calls
Sure.
to people outside to gain information, so.
Okay,
So we can give you the directive, go ahead
We will
and contact
call
them
them.
and see if we can
And
set
do
something
it
up.
countywide,
Yeah,
because
and
we're
you-
not the only school
Sure.
that's dealing with this.
Well, I'll ask them, they might say those individual school boards have to invite. I don't know. But there's,
Ask.
I will do what I can.
Why
do.
we can't do a
Sure.
Jefferson County?
I don't have an issue. I think we should open it up after reading the
Forum.
paper here recently. I mean, there's
Definitely.
several issues going on across the county that I think would be beneficial.
Across the state, the nation, Canada.
Niagara Falls.
Canada.
You too.
Okay, so we have no vote on that. It's just first reading?
It's not even first reading.
It's just intro.
Introduction.
When's the policy meeting?
We haven't said.
We haven't said it yet. We have the policies ready to go out. Like I said, Beth and I talked about that this week. We're setting up the tab committee meeting first, and then we'll follow up with this.
All right. Okay,
So you'll send those out to us when you know what those are? You'll
Yes.
send them? Okay.
we're done. Yeah. all of it.
Well, it doesn't have inside. It has to do with meetings for us, like the meeting that we were supposed to go to.
We, oh,
With the
they call
second
it.
one?
Well, yeah, the
Is
first
that-
one, they pulled us out, and then we have to go to the first one before we move to the
Well,
second
that's
one.
what was my question, is that the way it is, so,
So we can't do the second.
then, so we're out totally, okay. Because I thought, I understood.
She said she would have to come here.
Well, that's what I thought you
and
understood.
have a meeting with us.
Right, to
And
update us.
John kind of visited about that. We still weren't for sure because four have to go.
Correct.
And we weren't still positive about schedules, who all would be able to go.
So
which
you
is
just
for
nixed
board.
it instead
we-
of trying to come up with a date.
I mean, what's the time frame? Yeah.
That was October 12th?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seven.
Now, she might have another one in the spring. I don't know. We can call and ask. I mean, if you're really wanting to go and everyone will commit to going, we can try to get.
I know my
Yes.
calendar already, so I mean, it was
Right.
good with me, but, I mean, I don't.
Well, I think we get the 7, we do it again in the spring if it's available. Can you
Can we
check
find out
that?
what plan she has for the
Well,
spring?
but
If she
we're
has
gonna
it
be
on-
limited on time right now.
No, I know. I mean, she'd have to come down here
Right,
and
and
meet
that
with
was
us,
my
and that's,
question.
you
What
know,
about
we've
the
got 2
audio, the
weeks,
video
2.5
that we
weeks.
discussed, like the,
The evaluation video.
yeah.
If they have any trainings like that, you mean?
I don't know, because I'm assuming this had to do with the Baldridge form that was kind of new at MSBA last year. And I don't know if that's 100% correct or not. But the other question I had was the regional meetings.
Yes.
Is it in Ferguson?
It was.
No, it hasn't
Last year.
happened yet.
No, I think last year.
Last year it was at
Did
Hancock
you
Place.
get update on the regional
Yes, it
meeting?
was. And this year it's in Ferguson. I have a little concern going to Ferguson, but I didn't know if that was just me or if anybody else.
Is it in the evening?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's in
when
the evening. I don't
Where,
remember.
where?
I was just dealing with,
Was it on the email we received yesterday?
probably. I just read the Ferguson aspect, and I know Ferguson is doing a panel at MSBA next weekend.
Oh, nice.
So,
You'll report back.
to how to deal with civil unrest and education. So, you know, it might pick up. But I was just wondering others' feelings or comments about going to regional meeting if it's held in Ferguson, which it is in Ferguson. No problem. You
Yeah,
do.
it's not a
Okay.
problem. I can drive.
I'd be fine, I
Okay. I would be okay in numbers.
Safety.
I'm looking here to
I
try to
was thinking
find
about
regional
safety.
meetings right now. We
Yeah.
are Region 7. It's not showing upcoming events.
And just keep showing the ball.
I've got, I don't know if they've updated the website yet.
I didn't,
You saw it the first time?
yeah, because otherwise I wouldn't have known. was thinking it was probably the end of October somewhere, but
I've got regional executive committee meeting.
oh, it would be in my email. I'm sorry, I didn't write that down. Stand up.
I'm not seeing it. We could do some research and get back with you.
Fall regional meetings, register.
She just did that. Oh, yeah.
Region 7
Yes.
is Thursday, October the 29th, Ferguson, Forest, and R2. Thursday, October 29th. And, oh, is that our board meeting night? Wait a minute.
22nd.
No, I think it's 22nd October, right, Beth
Yes.
Okay, so this, we would have 3 new members by that time.
But we'd have to register before then.
Right.
Correct.
Well, I think we'll know the name. Well, right.
We'll have anything for that next week.
What was the dates again?
October 29th, and it's just like a one,
Right.
McClure South.
it's where?
McClure South. That's what it says there.
Okay, so what's that?
It's
Right
Where I get, might get.
it's
mine.
not, no, it's not in the middle. My
Okay.
wife is right there next to it.
Oh, okay.
So the meeting is the 29th?
The 29th.
Yes.
But our meeting is the 22nd.
22nd.
Yes, that is correct.
What time was that done?
Starts at 5:45 as registration. Goes through till 8:30.
Okay.
And there's dinner and like that.
Kind of hungry now. All right. Anything else?
So I'm checking on that and get back with you, or you wanted me to register, Beth Ann, to register the board to go? Or are we going to try to see if we can wait till the 22nd and then try to register on the 23rd for it? I'm sure it would still be open.
To be able to include the new members.
I would think if they were interested in going.
Can you check on that to see?
See what their thoughts are.
Well, I'll check on it and I'll send you a text message and let you know.
And then we can get
Circumstances, so
Okay.
perfect.
I'll ask for the latest date to register.
And tell them from Hillsboro, and then they give you some.
Yeah, no doubt.
They did.
They'll be like, yeah, we want to.
Any discussion, anything left? Okay, move to adjourn. Motion?
Moved.
Second.
Second, first. Get Lisa involved.
Longer than 4 minutes.
All in favor, raise aye. Your right hand. Whatever. Meeting's adjourned. Yes, thank you.
22 p.m.